بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه. First of all, I would like to thank the management of ICQC having me here this morning. And secondly, I could see, mashallah, many brothers from Plano. Alhamdulillah, it's extension of Plano. Just I was looking for a brother. When I asked him around, he'd say, we'll go to ICQC. I said, let me go and check. I could see, mashallah, our brothers are here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept Salat al-Fajr. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our presence here. As today I was informed, the Mufti Sahib, the Imam, he had this topic, the significance of Muharram or the Ashura. Although we know that is nothing new. Muharram is not any new month. Or therefore Ashura is not something new has happened or occurred. It's a great significance even before Islam. And again I will just share the brief history of Islam, although we will not be able to cover up the history of Islam in a few minutes. But yes, history of Islam is very rich. If we know the basics, the history of Islam, and we can learn from the past mistakes or where we are lacking some shortcomings, and what will be our future plan, and what do we learn and how we implement, and what are things that we have to rectify. So this is the basic thing that we have to share with all of you brothers. With your sisters also? Yeah. MashaAllah. So, first of all, the ayah that I have recited, the first rakah and second rakah. The first rakah that we have been asked, whenever we face any challenges, any problems in our life, we must have patience, and how we seek patience, how we seek help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. That all you who believe, seek help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the patience and salah. مستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. Verily Allah is with those who are patiently persevere. And those who are killed in Allah's way, ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات. Those who sacrificed their life for the sake of truth, those who are killed in Allah's way, they are not dead. Don't say, وَلَا تَقُولُوا, don't say that they are dead. But أَحْيَا, but they are alive, وَلَكِنْ لَا تَشْعُرُونَ, but you cannot comprehend. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. And surely we shall test you with something of fear and hunger and loss of fruits and life. But give glad tidings to those who patiently persevere. Whenever any calamity and difficulties falls upon them, what they say? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That verily we belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and will return to Him. And they are the one, أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ. They are the one that Allah's blessings and the mercy will be upon them, and they are the guided people. So that's what we learn from these beautiful ayats, that whenever we have any challenges and problems in our life, seek help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the patience and the salah. Turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wherever we are lacking the shortcomings, turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, feel it, realize it, get back. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be with you. And we are also asked, O you who believe, the second rakah that I have recited, they are very famous ayat, and it became part of our khutbahs. That, O you who believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, but never ever die but in the state of submission, as a true Muslim. And hold fast in وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast in the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Hablullah Quran. As it was explained and interpreted, what habl means. نَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. This is also called habl. Habl is a rope. But only from hadith we will be able to know what habl is. Hablullah huwa al-Quran. hold fast with the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not be divided. And remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's favor upon you, that you are enemies to one another. And He created love in your hearts. With the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you became brethren in Islam. You were at the pit of the fire, brink of the fire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rescued you from that fire. These are the signs so that you may be guided. Think about, reflect. So both ayats are related to in our life, like how, where we have to understand and what's going on with the Muslim Ummah and what are the challenges that we are facing today. So I will go back to a little history. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he announced his prophethood, he lived in Makkah for how long? Now, mashallah, there are some young students are here, and it's good for them just for small interaction and helping out. After announcement of Nubuwwah, or announcement of prophethood, how long the Rasul sallallahu stayed in Makkah? Help me out. Do you have any idea? 13 years. That's good for you. So we should learn these basics. After announcement of Nubuwwah, Rasul sallallahu lived in Makkah for 13 years. And then Rasul sallallahu migrated from Makkah to Medina. And how long he lived in Medina? 10 years. So, Meccan era, as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he conveyed a message of truth, the Meccans, they were not ready to listen against their idols, man-made idols, statues and images. And his own family members became his enemies. And they never let him pass any single chance to harm him. And finally Rasul sallallahu moved and he migrated with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from Makkah to Medina. And when Rasul sallallahu lived in Medina, and even Makkah, they followed him. And they wanted to harm him and all those who were his followers, companions. And they wanted to just wipe them out from the face of this earth. So that's why they traveled from Makkah to Medina. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family and his Sahaba, they defended. So that's why many battles were fought. Battle of Badr, Uhud, Hunayn, Ahzab, and all these battles, that's well documented in history. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he left this world, now I'm coming to the next belief. Who was the first successor of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Yes, agreed upon. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. And do you know how long his Khilafah lasted? How long his Khilafah lasted? You have any idea? Over 2 years. 2 years, 4 months, 6 days. Some of them documented, but over 2 years. Closer to 2.5 years. And then the second Khalifa, Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu anhu, when he became Khalifa. And how long his Khilafah lasted? Do you have any idea? 10 years. So those who are recalling, that's good. We should just revise it. 10 years. Closer to 10 years, little bit over 10 years. And then Usman radiallahu anhu's Khilafah, the third Khalifa, Sayyidina Usman radiallahu anhu. Then when he became Khalifa, do you know how long his Khilafah lasted? Yes. Over 10 years, almost 11 years. The longest Khilafah was Sayyidina Usman radiallahu anhu's Khilafah. The longest one. Umar radiallahu anhu 10 years, but say Usman radiallahu anhu over 10 years, almost 11 years. And then after Sayyidina Usman radiallahu anhu, then the Khilafah, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. Do you know how long his Khilafah lasted? Almost 4.5 years. Now the reason that I'm sharing with you, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the Khilafah will remain, the Khilafah will last for 30 years. For 30 years is mentioned that. And according to Muhaddithin and historians and biographers, those who documented, they also add 6 months of Hazrat Imam Hassan after Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. The 6 months, they also include their biographers, those are documenting all this one, not something right now, today something has happened, or recently has happened. So it's all about documenting. So then after 30 years of Khilafah, then the Mulukiya will start. It's a kingdom. Do you know who was the first king or first, Malik? Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiyallahu anhu. All the Sahaba Ikram, we respect them all. We always say radiyallahu anhu, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says radiyallahu anhu wa radu anhu. They are pleased with Allah and Allah is pleased with them. So, now if you go down from this old Khulafai Rashideen and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they are all shuhada. All shuhada. وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلُ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٌ. They are all shuhada. How? And the biographers and the historians and the truth from through teachings of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the contacts that they have collected, is that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Yahudiya, one of the Yahudiya, she mixed the meat with the poison and the bed of Khaybar, and he took a bite, and then even the meat spoke that there's a poison in it, spit it out. But some of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just small bite that he swallowed, and this poison remained in his body. And at the end, at the age of 63, when the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam leaving this world, this poison returned, and because of the same poison, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam left this world. And because of the poison is called Shahid-e-Azam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Subhanallah. This is according to Barakah. So important. There's Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. He is also considered as a Shaheed. How? When the Rasul sallallahu was migrating from Makkah to Medina, and accompanied with the Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and when the cave of Thor, and Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he was fixing the cave of Thor, and there was one hole, and he put his heel in it just to cover up, and the snake stung him, and he had a poison in his body. This was a miracle of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He applied his saliva and he was cured. And again at the age of 63, this poison returned. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu is also considered Shaheed. And then Umar radiallahu anhu, and he always prayed, he always made this dua. Allahumma rzuqni shahadatan fi sabilik waj'al mawti bi waladi habibik. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he always prayed, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma rzuqni shahadatan fi sabilik. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bless me with the shahada. And bless me with the shahada, where? Fi waladi habibik. In the town of your Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of your beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And his dua was answered. And Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu was also made Shaheed, right in Masjid al-Nabi and Fajr time. He's also Shaheed. And by who? The one who was calling himself maybe a Muslim, but he was not Muslim, the Majusi. So through the Majusi that he attacked, and finally he was assassinated. He was killed, he was made Shaheed. Then Sayyidina Usman radiallahu anhu. And we know the history also. Sayyidina Usman radiallahu anhu, the first 5 and 6 years was very successful. And then after that, the challenges and the problems started. And if you recall one of the saying of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, khairul qurunu qarni, thumma alladhina yalunahum, thumma alladhina yalunahum. The best time is my time, then next to it, then next to it. And based on the one interpretation, that the best time is Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's time, then Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu's time, then Umar radiallahu anhu's time. Then after that, there will be some challenges, some disturbance and problems and difficulties. And according to this interpretation, yes, it happened. Umar Abu Siddiq radiallahu anhu's time was, a best time. Although there were some challenges, but he controlled. He took a serious step in actions against those who were creating problems. And that Umar radiallahu anhu's time was, golden age. It's called golden age. And that Uthman radiallahu anhu, first 5 or 6 years, they were successful, and then conspiracy, and there were some misconceptions. And Abdullah ibn Sabah, who was apparently Muslim, but he was not Muslim, he was munafiq. And he converted from Judah. He was a Jew before, and then that he had always had ill feelings, and he wanted to see the declining or disturbance or the problems. So he played his role, whatever he was supposed to do, based on being a hypocrite or munafiq. So then what happened? Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, group of people, those who call themselves Muslims, the so-called Muslims, they were informed that Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, that he is having, he's favoring his family members, his close relatives. So anyway, this is a long story, but ultimately Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu was made shaheed in Medina by so-called Muslims. They call themselves Muslims. That's why the problem started. Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu anhu, then again Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, during his Khilafah, then again they were called Kharijiyya. They called themselves Muslims. And Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu was also made shaheed. Then coming to the next, sometimes when we talk about the grandson of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we think, Hassan and Hussein, or they belong to Ali Rashid. No, they do not belong to Ali Rashid. They are the grandson of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a history that we should know it. So, after Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, because Hazrat Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he was appointed as a governor of Damascus and all this area. And when Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, when he took his Khilafah, then he has something to be fixed, that according to his vision and according to his ability and according to his strategies, that how we can resolve the issues, because still they were Khariji, or they were the fitnas, they were becoming stronger. So that he asked like some of the governors to be replaced. So Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he had his own vision, he had his own way. There was also misunderstanding, because Abdullah ibn Sabah and his group, he was going to one party, then he was going to another party, then he was creating some disturbance, and finally they had some battles. It's called Battle of Jamal, Battle of Safin, and many peoples, they lost their lives, and they were all shuhada because of ijtihadi khata and whatever was there. But still we have a loss of respect, and nothing we can say that based on their taqwa and spirituality. No one can point finger to any Sahabi, because they are all like stars. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that. Yes, there was some problems, and which is well documented. So then after Ali radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Imam Hassan, that when he was asked to lead and to continue, just within 6 months, there was lots of disturbance, and Sayyidina Hazrat Hassan radiallahu anhu, he resolved the issue, and he handed over to his Khilafah, or his whatever the part was, to Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. Then he became as a first Malik. Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, once again he was a great Sahabi, he was a Katibani Wahi. He used to document the Wahi of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is one of those. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said many things about Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. So what happened, he continued, and during his time, Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he had this vision that his son Yazid, he is capable, he's a smart, he's intellectual, and he could do better job. And again, along with Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, there were those who were giving some suggestions and advisors. So based on the advices and based on his suggestions, So Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he appointed his son Yazid while he was alive. And he gave great instructions, very strict instructions, that when you are going to leave, and if Imam Hussein, the son of Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu, whenever he demands, and you have to treat him well, their family, and you have to take care of him. So whenever that he is asked to shift that, the government or shifting any authority or something, hand it over. There are some of them they documented according to that. But what happened, Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, when he left this material world and he turned, and that those who are documenting, they were saying that now what happened, the Amir, so Yazid, that he was not following the instructions which was given by Sayyidina Amir Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, that he started missing Salah. He used to have some kind of parties that the Sahaba at that time, they did not have any experience of previously. So when they observed that he is not our true leader, because they had great examples of previous Khulafai Rashidin, the spirituality and the taqwa. So they say, he is not meeting that standard. So that was the reason. They say, we need someone who can lead us, and who is more capable, who is more spiritual, and who is more muttaqi, and who have more rights. So that's why the people of Kufa, they wrote a letter to Imam Hussein radiallahu anhu, please come and lead us. Because we could see that he is not able. He is missing many things. That led to one of the sort of the incident which was occurred on the day of Ashura. When the people, they wrote a letter to Imam Hussein radiallahu anhu, first he was reluctant. He did not go. And finally, when he received such kind of letter and said, we are asking you to leave, and you are not answering our call, and on the day of judgment, we are going to follow him, whatever way that he is doing it, we are going to follow him. But if you are not helping us out, on the day of judgment, you will be responsible. When he received these kind of letters, and then he got ready. Then what happened then? That day of Ashura, although as I mentioned earlier, the day of Ashura, significance of day of Ashura is very great. Before this incident has happened, as some of maybe the sources are not that authentic, but some of scholars, they have documented that Sayyidina Adam alayhi wassalam's Tawbah was granted, and that was on day of Ashura. And Sayyidina, the first rain hit the ground, there was also day of Ashura. Is Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, when he was thrown into the fire of Namrud, he was rescued. There was also day of Ashura. Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam's ark stopped at Mount Judy, that was day of Ashura. Sayyidina Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam regained his eyesight because he cried a lot for his son Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. He regained his eyesight, that was also day of Ashura. Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salatu wassalam, he was cured from chronic ailment, that was also day of Ashura. And Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wassalam was rescued from the tyranny of Fir'aun, that was also day of Ashura. And that's more authentic, because that's well documented in Hadith. The rest of them, maybe this is related to our knowledge and information, nothing to do with Amal or Ahkam, but just for information, maybe could be or maybe not. But this is the authentic. When the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated from Makkah to Medina, he found that the Jews, they were fasting on this day. And when he asked, what were they fasting on this day? He said, because Sayyidina Musa was saved and rescued from the tyranny of Fir'aun. And we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we fast. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, we are more closer to Sayyidina Musa than you. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam Yawm al-Ashura wa amara bi-siyami. And he fasted on this day, and he commanded, and he asked to fast on this day. That's why we are fasting. And there are some people who have misconception. They think, we are fasting on the day of Ashura because of Sayyidina Imam Hussein radiallahu anhu was made shaheed in the battle of Karbala. No, but actually that is not as mainstream. They all follow this hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we are fasting because of Sayyidina Musa was saved from the tyranny of of Firaun. And in order to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we fast. And although before month of Ramadan, the day of Ashura was selected and was fixed to fast on this day, that it used to be mandatory fast. But now it become only istihbab and mustahab. And also Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that لَإِنْ بَقِيتُ إِلَىٰ قَابِلٍ لَأَجُوبَنَّ التَّاسِعِ. And if I survive the next year, we will fast 9th and the 10th day of Muharram. They are day before and then the 10th of Muharram. So that's why we are asked to fast one additional day, one more day before or day later, just to make differentiation from there. So these are the great significance of day of Ashura. But added to the list, this is called added to the list, that that's called Battle of Karbala was fought. And the hadith that I have just last time concluding here, just to show our love and respect to all the Sahaba Ikram Ridwanullah Ta'ala Majmu'in, and at the same time to show our love and affection to Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's family. عن سعد بن أبي وقاص قال لما نزلت هذه الآية فقل ندعو أبناءنا وأبناءكم ونساءنا ونساءكم وأنفسنا وأنفسكم ثم دعا رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عليا وفاطمة وحسنا وحسينا فقال اللهم هؤلاء أهل بيتي. رواه مسلم بإسناد صحيح أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. When the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Quran is called ayat mubalah. Ayat mubalah means the Christian from Najran, when they have some argument that in Tathlis, in Trinity. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was certain, if they do not believe and if they are confronting you, let them bring their children and their their women with them, and you bring your children and bring them. Then after that, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's curse upon them. That who is right, who is wrong, who is false and who is true. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought with him Aliyan wa Fatima wa Hasanan wa Husayna. So Rasul sallallahu brought Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu and Hazrat Fatima radiallahu anha, Hazrat Hasan and Hussein, and then he said, Allahumma ha'ula ahlul bayti. Ya Allah, these are my ahlul bayt. That we call ahlul bayt. Because of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam collected them, and this is whole chapter mentioned in Sahih Muslim. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once it happened, although this is a whole manaqib in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. Why I mentioned this hadith, that because of sometimes, I was listening one of lecture of him, Mawlana Jamil Sahib, and he says, especially these days, we become completely silent. We say, these are all belong to Ali Tashi, and we hand over to them. We say, Ahlul Bayt, they are not ordinary people. They are the family of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasul sallallahu loved them so much. And Rasul sallallahu made dua. Allahumma inni uhibbuhuma wa ahibbahuma wa ahibba man yuhibbuhuma. Aw kama qala Rasul sallallahu. And once Hazrat, one of the Sahabi, he said, I came as Osama radiallahu anhu. He says, I had something to ask, and I came to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he found that Rasul was carrying under his blanket. That he was wondering, what happened? What he's carrying. And finally, after finishing whatever he wanted to ask, then he said, Yes, Rasul, what is it? And he moved. He lifted his corner of the blanket, and he found Hassan and Hussein were sitting there. So his grandson, they were sitting there. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam made this dua. Allahumma inni uhibbuhuma wa ahibbahuma wa ahibba man yuhibbuhuma. Ya Allah, I love them. Ya Allah, you also love them. And love those who love them. Subhanallah. Love those who love them. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala love those who love them. So for that reason, we have to show our love to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his grandsons and his family. Our salah is not even complete, but we do not say salawat ala nabi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. What is next after that? وعلى آل محمد. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. And if we are saying this, and we have to express from our hearts, based on hadith, based on the teaching of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when we have love, when we express our love to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family members, this is called iman. This is part of our iman. This is part of our practice. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam made this dua, and Al-Hasan wal-Husayn Sayyida Shabab Ahl al-Jannah, famous hadith, Sahih Bukhari, that Hassan and Hussein, they both are Shabab Ahl al-Jannah. They are the leaders of all the youth in Jannah. And you know the famous story that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once he was praying, and he made a long sajda. You know, sometimes you see the children, don't shout at them, don't chase them away from the masjid. You know, as we learned from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he was praying and he delayed his sajda. He delayed his sajda. And after the Sahaba, they wonder what happened. You know, they were really scared. That Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, subhanallah, what happened? Is he receiving any wahi? Or something else happened? So after long sajda, when he completed his salam, so he was asked, Ya Rasulullah, what happened? He said, you know, my grandson Hussein was on the back. I didn't want to make it fall down. And he delayed his sajda. The Rasul was giving khutbah. He was giving khutbah, and Hassan and Hussein, when they were young, and you know that they did not have any carpet or any the smooth floor, and they just walked in the masjid, and they were falling, and they were walking, and they were falling down. The Rasul stopped his khutbah. He came from the minbar. He picked them up, and he said this ayah, Ya Allah, you said truth. Innama amwalakum wa awladukum fitnah. You know, your wealth and your children are trial for you. When I saw them falling on the floor, I could not carry on my khutbah. And he stopped his khutbah, and he came and picked them up. Rasul loved them so much, and this is a part of our belief, that we have to love. We must express our love, not only just lip service, but from our bottom of our hearts. So my brothers and sisters in Islam, as we covered the basics, history, part of our history, added to the list of all this, the day of Ashura is one sort of an incident that has happened, and we pray all the shuhada, and we make all the shuhada. And what we learned, and after that, the history goes that the Umayyad period lasted for 99 years, almost 100 years. Then again full of disturbance. Then Abbasid period started, over 500 years. And the first 115 years, that's called golden age, where the science and the technology and whatever inventions and the discoveries have been at, the 1001 discoveries of the Muslim, that we are very proud of our history. That has happened in that period. Then after that again is declining. And when the Ottoman Empire declined, then what's going on after that then? Why Muslim Ummah have no voice? Why we don't have any strength? And right now in Kashmir, nothing is hidden. Over 1 month, they have the children, the women, and people have no water. They have no medication, they have no food, and they cannot even move. They have no freedom of speech and expression and assembly and nothing. Their freedom is completely gone. But Muslim Ummah, as we talk of Muslim Ummah, but unfortunately, there's no Muslim Ummah left anymore. Nothing is Muslim Ummah. We are talking about Muslim Ummah. What Muslim Ummah is all about then? We can't do nothing. Why is the reason is? That's the reason, my brothers and sisters, that the 3 things, if we do not get back to those 3 things, we will face more challenges. One of the things is that is called taqwa, as the ayah that I have recited, the first ayah, the first rakah. Taqwa and spirituality, that is lacking. We are Muslim, but Islam did not enter in our hearts. That we have to get back there. There are many lackings and shortcomings. Second is unity. We are scattered. We have a minor, for negligible matters and for minor things, we are so scattered. And we create this line, and we draw this line that, we cannot compromise on the minor things, issues. that again, of course, if we do not have love for each other, then what will happen? We are not united. And the third thing is that, that the legacy of the scholars, our scientists, our historians, and those who really have discovered and introduced, that we are behind in knowledge. And that's the reason when all these things are missing, where will we have a voice then? What can we do? Is there any way we have strong voice? Unfortunately, nothing. So my brothers and sisters in Islam, I'm concluding here with this request. First of all, the spirituality and the taqwa. We have to bring it in our hearts. Taqwa is condition of the heart. It's nothing something material you can pick up and put in a pour it. Just see that where the thing that we are missing. We have to get back there. Come back to Qala Allah wa Qala Rasul. And the love of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, love of his Sahaba, love of his family members, and we have to love all those, as Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Quran says that أَنْعَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِم مِّنَ النَّبِيِّينَ وَالصِّدِّيقِينَ وَالشُّهَدَاءِ وَالصَّالِحِينَ, and follow their footsteps. Once if we come back onto this track, on this path, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will unite our hearts. Our hearts are not united. Once our hearts are united, we become strong enough. Then Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu isbiru wasabiru warabitu wattaqullaha la'allakum tuflihun. In order to be successful, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu isbiru, O you who believe, be patient in time of crisis and difficulties, and accept patience in confrontation. Warabitu, and be prepared. Be prepared to face any challenges. Mentally preparation, physical preparation, whatever preparation that we are missing. If we are not prepared, you will see the result, what will happen there. Then fear Allah again if you are successful. وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Do not be weak and don't grieve. You will be superior. You will become victorious. You will be, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will elevate your status. But the condition is, if you are true believer. That's missing. So, alhamdulillah, Allah ta'ala has blessed us with iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with many ni'mah, and we will be asked this all ni'mah. So let's come back and let's revive the thing that we are missing in our life. And with this dua that today we, as we gather here, to make dua for all the Sahaba Ikram and the Shuhada, because of their sacrifice that today Islam is preserved, and all the those are sacrificed, their kith and kin, Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu and his family members, and with their sacrifice today that we are surviving. With their sacrifice, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, when he was asked, this also documented in Sayyid Bukhari and Tirmidhi. And also this in Mishkat, the summer collection is that. Hazrat Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, once he was in Hajj and he was asked about one of the dubab, the mosquitoes and the fly, that someone was asking from Kufa, that what about if I kill mosquito or any fly, while I'm in Ihram? It is subhanAllah, you are talking about mosquitoes, you are talking about flies, but you people killed Nawasai Rasul. SubhanAllah. We have to learn. We have to learn from previous mistakes, and we have to unite ourselves. Once if we have the unity, and unity is very important. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will shower blessings upon us. So please make dua. Most importantly, dua mukhul ibadah, dua huwa ibadah. Dua by itself is ibadah. Dua is essence of ibadah. But dua will be more effective when we not only just lip service but actions, through actions. That just wishes are not enough unless we do something. A person says, my store should be successful, my business should be good, but he's not opening his store. There is no stock in it, and just keep on asking Allah, give the barakah in my store. But you are not there for the store. You are not opening your store. First, we have to do something, whatever we can. We have different capacity, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as our presence here, and all those Muslims are facing challenges around the world, especially in Kashmir, Palestine, around the world, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve them, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save them and rescue them as they are crying, رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا مِنْ هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ الظَّالِمِ أَهْلُهَا. And they are crying, they are saying, Ya Allah, take us out, rescue from this town whose people are oppressors and the zalim. And they are asking, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, raise for us from you a helper, and raise for us from you any protector. So make dua for all of them especially, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all, and jazakallahu khairan. Ameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa aqibatu al-muttaqeen, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulihi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. Ya Alameen, accept our presence here. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the brothers and sisters, those who have gathered here this morning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have mercy upon them all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have mercy upon the entire Muslim Ummah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have mercy upon the entire humanity, guide them all to the straight path. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask you, Ya Allah, wherever Muslim Ummah is suffering, Ya Alameen, especially in Kashmir, Ya Alameen, became like the Karbala for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask you, Allah, remove their suffering. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give them aman and peace, and those who are oppressors, Ya Alameen, those who are doing injustice to them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give them hidayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or remove them, from the hardship, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all those who are oppressors, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remove them from the face of this earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask you, Allah, all the Sahaba Ikram, all the Khulafai Rashidin, Ridwanullahi ta'ala majma'in, and the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam family members, and most especially Imam Hussain radiallahu anhu, who sacrificed fifth and kin for the sake of truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, elevate their status. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with their sacrifices, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask you your sacrifices, Ya Allah, that the shortcomings and lackings that we have in our life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us tawfiq to remove all these lacking and shortcomings and come back to Qala Allah wa Qala Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unite us all on one platform, that's La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, preserve our iman and our children's iman to the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bless our houses. Allah forgive us, our parents, our beloved ones, those who left this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, accept du'as, and especially we ask you, Ya Allah, our host today, our Dr. Lakhani, Ya Allah, and his family, Ya Allah, especially we make dua for his father. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, elevate his status in Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask you, Allah, this family, bless them all family, and all those who are contributing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bless them all in their families. Bless them with ajri azim. Allahumma rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim wa tub alayna ya maulana innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala rasulil khairi khalqi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.